In our lives, there are many times when speaking up can be powerful and move mountains, and in just as many times, silence has provided more results than saying something ever has. Understanding where and when those situations that require silence happen to us can be the pivotal turning point in having a terrible day filled with problems, or a fantastic day filled with purpose, insight, and powerfully positive results. Today, we will look at 7 of the most important times when silence creates more power and results for you than saying something, anything at all, ever could, and why. You might have found yourself in several of these situations, wondering what to do and say. Well, today we will delve into how silence can be your perfect answer to that situation, and why it creates power, purpose, and perfect positioning for you to do so around others. So let's get started. Number 1, understanding the Stoic pause. Think about how silence can change the way you interact with and navigate through conversations in your daily life. That silence can be powerful and stoic, purposeful and intentional, or it can be random, misplaced, and not used at all correctly, resulting in awkward situations, wrong interpretations, and conversations that come off as stiff and unproductive. Stoic silence can create space in conversations for you, build intention, show you have purpose and strength around others when most cannot. You see, most people do not know that silence in conversation is important and how it can be used in all sorts of important ways. They casually stumble through words, questions, interactions, and communication each and every day without ever considering the innate, awesome power of intentional Stoic silence. But today you will. Begin today by implementing this technique with others, by thinking and contemplation before speaking. This is how you do it. The Stoic pause can be used in many instances we will talk about here next, such as in a heated argument when others criticize you unfairly and intentionally undermine you to make you look bad. Number 2, when being criticized unfairly. According to the Stoic philosophy, being unfairly criticized by others is an easy and powerful way for you to become uniquely stronger and higher status than others. Stoicism teaches us that when we are unfairly criticized, it is that person's problem and issue, not yours. Remember, here we are talking about unfair criticism. For if you were to look at the action or behavior in a calm, rational light, and it is fairly warranted, that is something completely different than this. Here we talk about unjust, fabricated, untrue statements and measures of you as a person by others, to cut you down and denigrate you around others. You have the potential now to use Stoic silence to be stronger than your critics, be higher status than them, be more poised and intentional than those that have tried to smear you unjustly. Also remember this, Stoic pause is reinforced by the social fact that many around you also see through false claims and accusations against you. They see if that is true or not, and know as well. You don't need to fight and argue and put up a wall against falsehoods most times because of this. You have your record, your behavior, your actions around others to prove they were not true to begin with. Let your words be silent and use Stoic intent to make that silence your power, your purpose, and become greater than any of that could have ever imagined. Number 3, people bragging and boasting. Stoic silence can be immensely powerful as well when around those people who are bragging about their success or accomplishments, those people who tell others all about what they did and how they did it so easily. It can be easy as well for you to get sucked into such conversations and want to share your accomplishments as well, to prove to others you're the same and to show off your skills just like them. But resist this temptation, resist it well, and use Stoic silence to accept what they say as they say it and move on from it all, either conversationally or physically in what you are doing at the time. People love to convey to others their importance, their accomplishments, and to want you to support them. Supporting others in their growth is worthwhile. But those that intentionally brag and share their successes without regard to anyone else can be alluring to join in. Don't be tempted by it. Use the hardened Stoic silence and remain poised and intentional in not engaging into that process with them. They will soon realize that they have no power and cannot influence and control you in that regard anymore. By maintaining silence in these times, you stay in control of the conversation, its direction. And if they influence you into being affected by it all, these can be the most important Stoic silence times in the entire list, so pay attention to when you can use these. Number 4, when dealing with anger. Stoic silence can be most powerful and effective in those moments of anger and rage involving others. When those times come that people are mad, argumentative, blaming of you and others, Stoic silence can slow the pace down, put space between you and that person, create space between what they say and the emotions they are generating, and yourself. giving you precious time to breathe, to think, to be logical about what to do and how to proceed instead of going with the flow of emotions, building on them and taking the anger to higher levels. When we are angry, it can feel like a wild, out-of-control storm that sweeps away all reason and logic. Stoic silence creates the space and time you need to slow down, distance yourself from all that, and proceed with intention instead. Number 5, silence among false rumors. When people talk to each other, stories are like leaves caught in a gust of wind. They scatter to all parts of our lives, to people in many walks of life, to social circles and activities beyond the initial conversation. Each time those conversations are shared and reshared, many times the information and what happens in them gets exaggerated and misconstrued. Even more often, after several tellings of stories, things are being told happen in them that did not happen at all, never occurred, and are simply not true at all. When these stories and rumors aren't true, they can cause harm and confusion. Stoic silence gives us a strong, resounding answer. Stoic silence can create a calm, centered self and ensure we do not engage in stories or speculation, and helps us avoid siding one way or another with information we have no idea if it is true or not to begin with. Stoic silence, being quit in the moment of untrue rumors and negative stories, keeps us out of the loop. It keeps us grounded and centered in ourselves, instead of giving in and joining the negative storyline, the falsehoods spread, or those wanting to fabricate things based on what you said around them. This is immensely powerful and productive. Number 6, how to deal with loss. How do you deal with the utter silence that follows a major loss? Loss is a powerful experience for all of us, and can take us on wild emotional roller coasters we had not intended to be on or part of. This roller coaster often creates a void in us filled with sadness and despair. Stoicism has a unique way of dealing with loss and pain. For example, in Book 3 of his Discourses writings, Epictetus explains to us that grief is a natural response, but emphasized that we have within us control over our thoughts and emotions, even though many times it does not seem so. He says for us to focus on our own judgments and reactions, rather than external events that we perceive to have damaged us. It may be difficult, but he also tells us to remember that loss is a constant in life for all of us. No matter who we are, what social class we live in, and how fortunate or ill-fated one's life may be, we all suffer the same losses, and many times, to the same extreme extents. It is the same bonds that cross all people, all cultures, all societies, that loss and grief exist. These bonds also tie us as humans together, create our strength together, and build relationships with one another in times of extreme loss and emotional turmoil that we can see a path through to the other side. It is this stoic silence and understanding that will keep you together, poised and in control in these difficult situations you find yourself in. Number 7, dealing with ignorance of others. Navigating ignorance with stoic grace. Have you ever met someone whose actions and words were not worth your time, attention, or responding to? We come across this fairly often in our lives. But how do we deal with them and interactions together in a way that shows power, class, strong internal mindset, and exude confidence the entire time? That is where stoic silence comes into play and shows how to do it masterfully. You see, the stoic silence produces amazing results in the wake of people who are ignorant, because ignorant people are looking for a reaction, a response, or to tell you things for a specific reason. When you don't give it to them and instead maintain your stoic silence, they fall flat. They don't have any power anymore. They can't share their ignorance in words, actions, and behaviors with you, and as such, look even worse than they did before. Looking at all of these instances of social problems, stoic silence can not only offset but many times place you in the much more powerful, more in control position within. Can be a very sobering and reassuring thought now. If you were to think about it all, if you found the video to be useful and you gained value from its application in your life today forward, click below and maybe subscribe. We love having you here. Here at Stoic Legend, we cover the most interesting, challenging, and persistent problems we face in today's world, and show you how Stoicism and Stoic processes can drastically help you navigate them, instead of you having to go it alone and with no powerful, proven guidance like this. So until the next video, take care, young one.